Alright, so today I want to speak about the summer, the weather, and my reflections on that as a Muslim. Because I live in the UK, and it's getting more hot, and I think it's a good time to reflect on the change in weather. So one thing that I've read recently is from the Muqaddimah by Ibn Khaldun, and he has a chapter where he speaks about the weather. So he grew up in the Maghrib. I think he was born in Tunisia, but the Maghrib is all the Muslim lands in North Africa. So as we know, they're very hot. So he says, as a North African, that the sun affects your personality, and this is something that I've never actually thought about. He says that he grew up in North Africa, so that's something that I never really thought about, but I think it's something good to reflect on. How does the weather actually affect your personality? Even in the UK, it's very gloomy, and people always say that we have a darker personality, a more sarcastic personality, and that does kind of link to the weather, because the weather is very overcast and very gloomy. I'm not saying it's the primary source, but it's definitely something to reflect on. But something that I did want to speak about as a Muslim, the summer heat. Looking at on it, I think there's 3 points that we can take from this summer and this change in weather. The first thing is that the blessing of the sun. The sun, it gives light, it gives heat, and we get to stay warm, and we get to go outside, and the days are longer. And how are we taking advantage of that as a Muslim? Because the day is really helpful to get work done and things like that. The second thing is that we need to remember the hellfire. Allah says in Surah Tawbah, وَقَالُوا لَا تَنْفِرُوا فِي الْحَرِّ قُلْ نَارُ جَهَنَّمَ أَشَدُّ حَرًّا أَلَوْ كَانُوا يَفْقَهُونَ. And they said, do not go forth in the heat. Say the fire of hell is more intense in heat, if they would but understand. It's basically explaining that the fire of hell is a lot hotter than the heat of this world, and the fire of hell is 70 times hotter, and that's been confirmed in the hadith by the Prophet ﷺ. So it's definitely something to think about, how the hottest fire is nothing compared to the hellfire, and of course no one wants to go there. The final thing is the blessing that we have due to the sun. We have cold water, we have shade, we have light clothing. I'm wearing a light jersey, is very helpful, and shorts are really good in summer, as long as you're covering your aura, of course. But these are things that a lot of people take for granted. You put water in the fridge, and then you get cold water. A lot of the times in these hot countries, they don't, well, back in the day, they never used to have fridges, and they never used to have ice. So it's something that we in the West, we take for granted a lot. And of course, you're going to be rewarded in proportion to the struggle that you go through. So for me, I try to go outside more in the summer. I try to go to the mosque more, just because the days are longer and you don't get as tired. In winter it might be easier, but sometimes it's nice to have it spread out, because you get the few hours in between of walking to the mosque and coming back, whereas in winter it might be a bit harder because you're constantly going back and forth. But yeah, those are a few points that I want people to take from the change in weather, and at the same time, it's a time to have fun, it's a time to go outside in a halal manner. So yeah, that's it.